the first day I introduced you into our craft classes and our subscriptions and what we do here on the farm with You Pick Flowers. Uh, the second day, what we did is I kind of told you the backstory of how we started the farm and what we were doing with the farm up until June 21st last year. And we had we had a fire. 3 o'clock in the morning, we got woken up. I got woken up to my husband jumping straight out of bed, saying fire. My sister-in-law was who I said lived with us yesterday. Her and my niece and my nephew live with my husband and I and our 2 children. And we get woken up 3 o'clock in the morning. My sister-in-law opened the door. Somebody kept knocking and knocking and knocking. Wouldn't stop knocking until she opened. And she just happened to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is very, very odd because she didn't have to use the restroom or anything like that. And she is the hardest sleeper I have ever met. The knocking would not have woken her up. She will sleep through anything. But she just happened to be awake and she opened the door. She didn't really want to open the door, but like they wouldn't stop. So she did. She cracked it just a little bit and was like, what do you want? They said, your barn is on fire. You need to call 911. That person did not call 911. She screamed fire. My husband and my daughter woke up. Then my son and I woke up. And we kind of all sprung into action. My sister-in-law called 911. She said, the barn's on fire. You need to get here. Then my daughter, she ran across the hall to my niece's room, knocked on the door, yelling at her to get up. She was dead asleep. Both my sister-in-law's kids are just as heavy sleepers as she is, and they wouldn't wake up. That night, my niece had cleaned her room and barricaded her door. She put all her furniture against that door. My daughter had to push through the door and the barricade and all the furniture to get to my niece, screaming at her and shaking her to get up for her to finally get up. My son, he got up and he went and got my nephew up. And he had to go over there and he was shaking and screaming at him to wake up too. Finally, they got all of them out. My daughter got our pets out of the house and my husband ran right in action, started moving the vehicles out of the way. And we were able to save a couple of things, but at that point, the fire was already coming out of the peaks of the barn. It started at the top of the barn, and that's where we had our venue at. I don't know who the man was who called or who stopped at 3 o'clock in the morning. So if anybody out there knows who that person is, please let me know so we can thank him. My sister-in-law can't remember his face. My husband was the only other person who saw him, and he thanked him. He went up to him and thanked him, and he just remembers the hollow of his eyes. He can't remember the guy's face either. But the man said, "Is everyone safe?" And we all said yes. Or he said yes. We're all safe. And then the man was gone. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. We do live in Amish country. There was no horse and buggy. There was no car. I have no idea who this man was. He is our angel. So please, if you know anybody who knows him, I don't even know if he's a real person or if he's really if God sent an angel to our farm to save us. Because while we're standing out there, my sister-in-law called the fire department again and said, if you don't get here, we're going to lose the house. Fire department came. The fire chief is a hero. He made the decision to call all the departments before he was supposed to. He was not supposed to until he gets here on property to do that and assess the situation, but he just went ahead and did it anyway. So because he did that, all the local departments all showed up at this exact same time. And if they were a minute later, we would have lost our house. And then that would have been a completely different story. Let me back up. So a year earlier, almost to the date, I had a lady who I don't know. She lives in Florida and she comes once a year to visit somebody. And she just happened to be going to the chiropractor down the street from me. And she knocked on the door and she said, do you sell flowers? And she saw my sign. She just pulled in the driveway and said, yeah. So I showed her around and we got to talking and she was really nice. I let her go pick flowers and then I waited into my store and she came back and she saw me making I was actually making soap. I believe it was soap or candles, one of them, but I was using a double boiler. And she just said, stop what you're doing right now. And I was like, what? Why? She said, God just told me that your barn's going to burn down. And I had been on edge for a year before then. And she showed me, because she would make candles. So she showed me a commercial crock pot, basically, for mass producing candles. And it was just warmer. Instantly I bought it. Freaked out. But time goes on. Pretty much down to exactly a year from that, when that lady came, is when my barn burnt down. The very next day she showed up again at my farm. Because she just comes once a year to visit her friend, and she just happened to be there the day after the barn went down. And she had no clue. She walked in and she was like, what happened? She was looking around trying to figure out where to go, because she remembered it, but she was like, is this the right place? And she said, what was plugged in? I said, nothing was plugged in. It started at the top of the barn. There was no electrical. It was nothing. It was in the middle of our venue. There was nothing but a rug. My husband and I were in there that night at 9:30 at night, working on a project for our church for the next day. There was no smoldering. There was nothing. We were told that the barn started from linseed oil combusting. It was 200-degree days back to back. That was the second 100-degree day of last year. And I didn't want the girls to work for me in the field picking weeds and things like that. So we were cleaning off chairs and just getting ready for a party and just doing some maintenance. And so I pressure washed some chairs and I had them oil them. And we think they moved the trash can to where they were oiling them and put the rags or the paper towels in the trash, and it went up in flames. It was not hot in there. 9:30 at night. It wasn't hot in there during the day. It was an air conditioned barn. It was fully renovated. It was a venue. um, and some things just don't make sense, but it's not for me to make sense of it. I would not have planned it. We had literally just finished making it, finishing it off, the night, that week before, really, of spending years of re-renovating it. So we went and had to deal with the insurance and the fire inspector and getting it all taken care of. Finally, we got to go ahead to clean up. We had some people ask us to help us clean up, so we reached out, but we didn't put it out to the community or anything like that. And it happened on a Wednesday. We got to go ahead on Friday. So my husband was calling all day on Friday trying to get like an excavator to come by and just whatever we could to get the supplies so we could do the cleanup on Saturday. And he called and called and called and all day long. Nobody had any excavators around, and he's 5 o'clock. He sat down in just defeat. He said, "I don't think we're gonna be able to clean this up." Our neighbor pulls in the driveway with an excavator and said, "Keep it for free for a week." And that was a huge help. But even a bigger, huge help was right after the barn fire. Our neighbor, Ray, he was the first one to show up. And he was the last one to leave. And I was in shock. I was in complete shock. I just sat down and sat for an hour. I'm guessing it's about an hour. I don't know, just like what just happened. And then I just said, "I got to get donuts. People are going to stop by." I have no idea. Don't ask me. I don't know why I needed donuts, but I was determined I had to go get donuts for people. So I think just needed to escape. I needed to like leave the property. So I got my kids, which are teenagers and young, and my daughter is 20. She was 19 at the time, and my son 16, 17. So they came with me, so I wouldn't be alone. My husband stayed at home, and we went to one Dunkin'. It was closed for renovation. I forgot about it. So we went to a farther one than we normally went to. By the time we got back, my neighbor had already, he left, went to his church. They do disaster relief, and they already volunteered and came back and told my husband that they volunteered to rebuild our barn for us. I can't tell you how grateful I am for that, because if it was not for that, we would be done. We didn't get enough money. I had the insurance, walked through and showed them everything, and they told us we had $1 million policy, but they didn't tell us they didn't tell us what the umbrellas of each one were. So we didn't get enough. We didn't get enough for the house. We didn't get enough for the barn, but we did get enough for materials. So it'll be tight, but we did get it, and we are still here, and we are able to keep going because of these wonderful people who are stepping up and are going to help us rebuild. We should rebuild really soon. Just got approval for our permit, and I can't wait. But we are here. And that's all I can say is how grateful I am for everyone who has shown up It's truly, truly been a miracle from step one. Funny story is that weekend, that Saturday that we cleaned up, we were supposed to have a bridal shower here 2 weeks before the fire. I got a call saying, "Can we postpone the bridal shower for a year?" And I was like, "Sure." Didn't think anything of it. Found out that um, the bride was pregnant and just wanted to redo it. And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I didn't have anything on the books on purpose after that bridal shower for the first part of July because I was going away and it was my dad and mine and my daughter's birthday. So my dad was turning 70 and we planned this big event. So I purposely had an opening on my calendar. So I was able to actually go and enjoy vacation. I didn't know if I had a business at that point. Honestly, I thought we were done. I truly thought we were done. But I didn't have to have all these cancellation plans. I did cancel some classes here and there, but for the most part, I didn't. But what we did lose the barn. It was just finished, as you can see here. Total loss, complete total loss. But it was just a building, and there's really only a couple things in there that I really truly cared about. One of the things was this photo right here and that lampshade, and some cabinets. I was able to get them on clearance. I was shocked I was able to get that lampshade. I bought that lampshade over like 13 years prior, and I was still able to get it. I was shocked. The one thing that really bothered me was we had one event in the finished barn, and it was a Midsummer's Night Dream, and we tea party, and we had the tables lined up with a garden inspired design, and I hadn't cleaned up from it yet, and I had brass antique brass antique sorry, my dog just came in here. If you, I don't know if you could see him, but that was Bandit. So I had brass antique pheasants that were my great grandmother's, and it's the only thing I got from her, and I thought it was gone forever. And this Christmas, I sat at my grandmother's house, and I just looked over, and I was like, there they are. And I told my grandmother, I said, "You have this same." I didn't realize there was two pairs of them. She said, "Oh yeah, I bought those in Japan. I forgot I gave my mom a pair of it." And she said, "Take it." So I was able to get my great grandmother's antique brass pheasants again. No, I was in tears. And now it wasn't just my grandmother's, my great grandmother's, it's also my grandmother's. And now I know where they came from. I didn't know the backstory, but now I have it. What I felt the most lost from the barn was momentum. We had just finished renovating our barn. This is a picture of our dinner party that we had the Saturday before the fire. It was the only event we had in the finished barn. We were just about to hang on the ceiling dried flowers because it's something I envisioned from the very beginning, and we were about to do it. And we were able to put some up, but we didn't have it covered like we wanted to. But we were able to have one. just one, but we were able to have one. That's the positive. People got to enjoy it. Beforehand, we had a store in the top of the barn, and then we had the craft room, and it was so crowded. It worked at first, but then we quickly grew, and we kept growing, and we kept growing, and we just needed the space. So literally, we just got the white building right there. We had just moved that out. That was my old barn where it has my logo on the doors. We had just got the barn, the new building a week before the barn fire. Days before the fire, we moved our store stuff right underneath the awning. It wasn't even inside the building. We moved it underneath the awning. And you can see how close they are, and you can see my house in the background. And this is before the fire. I think this was shot like a day before the fire, but we moved it out so we could have more space in our venue dining area for people to enjoy, and didn't, because they were so crammed in there. But when the fire happened, my store, you saw how close it was. It wasn't touched. My workshop was in between my house and my barn. You couldn't see it because it was one level versus two level, and it's right behind it. My barn was sandwiched in between my workshop, which is where I'm in today, and my new store. But they weren't touched. None of them were touched. They were closer than my house, but my house is the only thing that got damaged. And I was praying to God like a week before, because we were starting to get black mold into our bathroom, because I knew the rain was coming in. I was thinking it was coming through a window, but I wasn't sure if it was coming through a window or from the siding. But I knew I needed to replace the siding and the windows. But that was on the back of my house, which is an addition. Not the front of the house. The front of the house wasn't damaged, but we knew we had to replace everything. So, when we removed the siding of the front of the building, which was from the 1800s, which Cornerstone says, we found the brick underneath the siding, and we found giant holes throughout the whole outside on all three facets of the house. Giant holes all over. It's the people who owned it for us renovated it, and they just kind of they put siding over it, but that didn't fix the issue. For 13 years, we have froze in our house in the winter, and we've had $700 electric bills and like $700 gas bills while we're still freezing every winter. It's been insane, and we haven't been able to figure out why. And now we know. I would not have known about the brick with the holes if it wasn't for the fact we had the fire. Yes, we had this terrible vent, but we're safe. And it was just a building. But God showed us what we truly needed, and in God's timing. He took something that we couldn't do ourselves and revealed something that was so much better. And there's the store. That's underneath an awning. It wasn't touched. My workshop was not touched. I had soaps and wreaths and candles. You could see it before how close they were. They were only 10, 15 feet away max. They weren't melted. It was like God put a bubble over my brand new store that I just got and over my brand new and over my workshop so we could keep going. My workshop was already heated and air conditioned and renovated for when I do when I make things like floral designs and things like that. The only thing that was touched was the siding and the windows on my house, which I already needed. And I didn't even know I needed so bad, but that's what I needed. And that's what we're getting fixed. The there we didn't even have smoke damage in our house. There was no smoke that night. It went straight up. I did not feel heat. I went right up to the building. This is my shock. I know it was. But I went right up to the building and I moved stuff out of the way so I could save some stuff. I didn't feel anything. I know it was obviously hot. It was so hot that it literally melted the siding off my house. I have trees that go all the way down the driveway that are scorched. I have a tree that's touching my store that's scorched, but my soaps and candles were not melted. Not even a bit. Like, they were cold. It was literally like a bubble was put around them. And that had all my you pick stuff in it so people could still come pick flowers. So they did, and they kept coming. I had paused the classes, but people kept coming and supporting us in our darkest moments. And then once I was like, well, I have my craft workshop. Why can't, and it's already set up for craft stuff. Why can't I just move my classes in there? So that's what I've been doing until we get our barn done. And I was able to keep going, and I'm still keep going. It's tight in here. The new craft workshop won't be much bigger, but it'll be a much better layout. My workshop currently was set up not to hold classes, so it's a little workaround, but we're still doing it. The fire definitely paused us. It definitely shook us to the core. However, I still have PTSD from this day. Anytime I hear fire, I just go right back. But it's not the end. We're expanding. We are growing, and we're going to keep growing, and we're going to take this story of redemption and tell the world about how good God is and how my plans for just starting a little U-Pick is now expanding nationwide. God told me to create a place. I believe God told me to create a place for people to heal. And we are taking that healing. And people, I thought it was for other people to heal, but I didn't realize how much it was for me to heal. And there's no point for me to keep it just to myself. So we are taking this and we are sharing it with the locals here, but farther than the locals, all the way across the country, because people need to hear. They need to hear how God is working in our lives right here and now, and how no matter where you are in life, no matter what you're going through, you deserve a piece of rest, a piece of escape. And that's why our subscriptions are born. I've never ever had the thought to go outside of here. I don't like being in front of the camera. I am probably the shyest person you will ever meet. I like the work to stand for itself, but I don't like being the face of it. But God doesn't choose who wants to do it. God shows the way, and all we have to do is follow. So these are the boxes I showed you before. This is one of our craft kits that you will get. This is a tea making. This is a soap making kit. So we have all the, I don't know if you can see it very well, but we have 6 different types of flowers that you can put into your soaps. Different colors. These kits are designed for you to be able to create how you want it. When you come to the farm here and do a craft here, we have dried flowers everywhere, and you can pick and choose and make whatever you want. We have over 150 different essential oils. We have like I think 30 different color dyes. So you can come here, and all my classes, not all of them, most of them are, you get to make it for you. You're going to make it how you want it. What you like, not what I like, how you want it to be. And I guide you step by step in that. And I let you have the creative freedom. A lot of places are, you need to do step by step, and this is the end product, and this is what you get. You don't get that here. That's my favorite part, is seeing what everybody else creates. That you have the freedom to create your own. You get to take nature, and you get to make it beautiful. I tell people all the time, don't worry about if this is too hard, because you can't make it ugly. It's nature. God's already taken care of the hard part, and you're working with beautiful products, so you can't mess it up. But each kit comes with all the supplies you need. Here's tweezers and craft sticks. We have 6 different dyes, so you can pick whichever colors you want. You have 6 different essential oils, so you can pick whatever smell you want. Our kits come in these adorable craft bags that are hand stamped. So you never know what you're going to find in your bag. So make sure you take pictures when you get it, and a reveal of what's in your bag each month. This one is real goat milk soap base. This stuff is luxurious. Just working with it when you make it will feel fabulous. Look how cute they are. Aren't they cute? And then you get your soap molds. These are reusable. You can reuse this over and over and over again. And if you need more supplies from us, just let us know and we'll send it out to you. So each kit will have a thank you card in it, and kind of telling you it's about our property. And then it will also have a card that tells you exactly what's in each box. It will have a finished picture of what the craft should end up looking like, and it will have a QR code onto it, so you can just scan the QR code and then go to our video. It will go to our video, and it will be a video of me telling you step by step what to do. No matter which craft kit you get, if it's the monthly, this is a monthly one, or the quarterly, which is a party kit and it's enough for 4 people, you'll still get the videos. You'll still get me walking you step by step. There's no need for you have to guess about how to do anything, or or overestimate this or that, because you'll see me do it. I will be there with you every step. And then we will have these same craft kits here at the farm. So you can just come in and pick a craft kit off the wall, and you can just do it here in the afternoon. If it's like raining outside and you have nothing to do, or you want like a girls' night and say, hey, let's go do something, just come on over. We might have a craft class going on, but you're welcome to come in. And the easier craft kits, I will be here to help you. For the most part, it is self-serve, so you just scan a QR code. But if for any reason I'm not here, you're so welcome to come. But if I am here, I'll be here to help you. And the craft classes I do in person will be the same ones I ship out monthly. So you can either come here and enjoy it, and just if you feel like you want just a little bit more guided hand, or you can just get it shipped at home. And if you get a shipped at home kit, you can come here. Just let me know if you're in town, or if you want to come into a live class, and then we'll just move you to the live class instead of shipping off your kit. Just remember that this week only until March 9th is our Founders Week. So the people who sign up this week are the people who are going to get a highly, highly, highly discounted price. We have both at farm kit subscriptions and at home farm kit subscriptions. So you can come here on the farm, $39 a month, and you can get a class every single month. Or you can roll over that. If you don't want to go to that class, you can roll over and come to a different class and do 2 in 1 month, or save tickets to have you and your friends come to it. Or have a craft kit shipped to you. Every month you have a craft kit coming to you where you have your escape. You're busy, you're running around with the kids, or overwhelmed at work. This is your way to escape reality. This is your way to just do something for you. And these kits aren't cheesy. These are high-end kits that will look amazing in your home. I'm a commercial interior designer. If I don't want it, I wouldn't send it out. They are beautiful, and whatever you make will be beautiful. And it'll be even more special because you made it. Not something you can find in a store. It's something you create from real products right here from the farm. We grow it, we ship it. And we can't thank you how much this means to us by being a founding member, investing in our dream, investing in rebuilding and bringing back what we once had, but even better. Come with us tomorrow, and I'll take you through a tour and show you actually how and what we're going to do with the upcoming barn. And I can't wait. See you tomorrow at 9:30. Please make sure to leave a message and tell me what you think about it. Share it to your friends. If you know somebody who might want this or a gift, send it. But I greatly appreciate it, and I can't thank everybody who has helped us over the years and been there and rooting us on. And I hope that we are able to keep going and helping you out. Have a good day.